Hi, good evening, friends, supporters, viewers all around the world, in Malaysia, in Southeast Asia. Good evening. Welcome to Discover and Uncover the Gems in Us. Hey guys, how is everyone? How's your day? Well, I had quite a long day with meetings, having back-to-back meetings with some corporate people as well as with some consultants and advisors in the business arena. And look, there's a Christmas tree next to me, and soon, in less than 23 days or 24 days, we will have our celebration of Christmas. Well, friends, tonight we have got two dynamic speakers, and our guests tonight are also committee members of Global People Exchange. Since the month of September, we have invited friends and committee members of Global People Exchange to come on board on our show here tonight to add value and to be able to give some input. And tonight, the topic is Planet, People, Prosperity. Planet, People, Prosperity. Well, this year, as we are coming into end of December, year 2020 have impacted the world. So tonight our speakers will be up to the mark of us discussing, giving input of how what we do that could impact the planet. And of course, people, right? Our two respected guests are very much experienced professionals in their own field, yeah, CEOs, yeah, leader, and a highly respected facilitator, speaker, trainer. So we will look at the people essence of how can we add value to you as a business owner and in organizations, and also lives that we share in the community. And of course, prosperity. I was just having a conversation prior we jump into the actual live show. We got to look at next year. It's not so much about strategy, not so much about tactical plans. It's about sustainability. And sustainability also in question next year, 2021, right, can survive. Yeah? Are we on a good surviving strategies? Have we put on some good thoughts into surviving 2021? Well, the rise of a new dawn. And let me introduce tonight, we will have Dato P and as well as Joelynne Chong as our speakers. Welcome, my two friends, Dato P and Joelynne Chong.
Hello, Dr. Timothy. Hello.
Good evening, Dato. Good evening.
Good evening, Joelynne.
Thank you
Good
for coming.
evening. So pleased to be here.
Good evening. Wow, Dato, every time we seems to have meet each other in Zoom meetings, and Joelynne as well because of Global People Exchange. So meeting in Zoom compared to now live, we are on FB live show. Wow, Dato, you are handsome. You are handsome gentleman. Wow, Joelynne. Joelynne as well. Pretty and dynamic lady. I love the background with all these books. Lady of substance. So thank you. It's my joy on behalf of the team. Thank you for coming on board as our speakers and our guests for tonight. On behalf of my team, Geraldine is tidying up with some of her major regional projects in handling certain high-level meetings. So she sends her regards. She will join us next year when our show comes, we assumes in 2021, as well as thank you, technical director David. David has been in the pillar of support here over the past 2 months when we are also busy with things. Yeah. So thank you, team. Thank you for our speakers. Now, so let's start with a little bit of introduction, shall we? Let's ladies first. Joelynne, share with us. Tell us a bit about yourself.
Okay, Joelynne, I have been, of course, working for a long time. So career history is quite long. But I find that I'll share with you some highlights. One of the highlights is about 16 years ago, I got a job and I landed in a place called Shanghai. There was a time where everybody wanted to go there. I remember it was 2004 and China just joined WTO in 2003. So in fact, it was so full of foreigners and everybody see opportunity and everybody want to go there. So the opportunity was given to me to be in charge of a training business with a joint venture with a local partner in Shanghai. This is a state-owned, actually Beijing owned organizations, part of Beijing committee there. They own the organizations, which is in HR services. So they have a lot of HR connection and they wanted to start a training business. So in fact, they joint venture with Quest Learning in KL here in Malaysia. So we were invited to start. And at that time,
for a while, so Quest Learning, I always see Sifu KCC as my Sifu. Every time I see Sifu, I will agree with Sifu. And I think to our industry practitioners, HR and speakers, trainers, authors, and I think KC has been a really good support to me as well. Right? I learned a lot from KC's team in Quest Mastery, from Money Mastery. So good, Joelynne, thank you for input. Continue, yeah.
Yes, my boss and my sifu, our master trainer, Casey. Yes. So the 5 years I spent in Shanghai, basically as a GM in charge of a training business. And because the organization, the HR, the JV partner has a lot of databases of MNC, multinational organizations. So in fact, some of the clients that I service there are actually all the top organizations like company like HSBC, Intel, ABN AMRO Bank, APL Shipping, Schneider Electric. So I have a series of clients. So for 5 years, basically is doing a lot of training, consulting, and grooming actually the China-owned training trainers. These are the managers who have worked for 10, 15 years in multinational. So they also started wanted to, be into training. So we groom the local trainers as well as through our certified professional trainers and get ready this group of trainers and then we service the clients. And after that, I actually went back to China the second time. The second time I went back to Chengdu, and this is in the organization as a head of learning and development. And this is interesting because it's a multinational Diageo. They buy over, or they wanted to merge a local company in the baijiu industry. And as you know, in China, baijiu is really very lucrative brand, lucrative business. So this actually Diageo is it is the largest in the world. They own Johnny Walker and Guinness Stout, the two brands. So they are publicly listed in New York Stock Exchange and London Stock Exchange, and they have this goal. They want to buy another brand that they do not have, which is another category, baijiu. So in Chengdu, I spent 3 years there to help Diageo do some management transformation because baijiu, being the company Sui Jingfang being based in Chengdu, has a lot of management practices that's still not up to date. So in HR side, I help them to establish the training function as well as to help them to implement performance management system. Wow. So I basically set up the whole academy for them, and also started all parts of the training in the organizations, management, leadership, the production side. We kickstart management, excellent, all the initiative, the sales and marketing part, the supply chain, the compliance, a lot of area all at one time that we have to do. So I spent quite an interesting 2 years in Chengdu inside an organizations doing internal work for the organizations in learning and development. Yes.
Fantastic! Wow, fantastic, Joelynne。那你可以讲普通话跟上海话很好哈。
是的，我可以讲普通话是。
Very good, excellent, excellent. Now we will go a little bit more intense in our conversation as we go along. Of
Yeah.
how our experience, your experience, can continue to add value, yeah, to
Yeah.
organizations around the world. By the way, for tonight's show, we will have international viewers and supporters and friends also, yeah. So
Yes.
we will go a bit more in our conversation. Now, a man with gray hair, 50 years of gray shades, right? Usually men with gray hair are learned men. No? Dato P, share with us about yourself, Dato.
Sure. Right. I am a civil engineer by training. Right. I'm a chartered engineer. I'm a professional engineer, as well as I'm also an honorary fellow of the Institution of Civil Engineers. Right. United Kingdom. Right. I started my career in the Public Works Department way back in 1972. Right. In 1972. I've been in the design office. I've also been in the construction sector as well as property development. And I've also been hired in the Hong Yong Group, and I was in charge of sales, marketing, and production of concrete products as well as steel products. Right now, throughout my career, I've been exposed to a lot of areas. Of course, predominantly construction and property development. But having said that, I was also into plantation when I was the group MD of MC Corp Berhad, right? I've also got experience in tire manufacturing, right,
Wow.
as well as retail, like Pakistan and all that. Like Joelynne, I was also in China, but I go there every 6 weeks or 8 weeks to attend a management meeting because when I was with the Lion Group, we have about 14 beer factories producing 17 brands of beer, right?
Wow.
So yeah. Now, apart from engineering, I'm also very keen in areas of competency enhancement and productivity enhancement, right? So throughout my career, I have met all kinds of people, right? People who are motivated, people who are less motivated, and people who are totally not motivated, right? And I like to motivate people. I like to motivate people. I like to look at cost reduction exercises because
Mm-hmm.
to me, all cost reduction exercises uh, they are essentially they're essentially a strategy, right? So not so much about cost saving because I always look at cost saving as a culture, as a culture. So
Mm-hmm.
like before you leave the office, you should switch off the light, turn off the water. These are all culture, but cost reduction should be seen as a strategy to bring our cost down, but not compromising on quality. Because I always believe that we should be looking at how to leverage or entrench our core competency, and then ultimately how to leverage on our core competency. I always believe that our core competency should be cost and quality. Number one. Number two, how to develop our human capital. Number three,
Right.
how do we network, right, and develop strategic alliances. Number four is how to keep abreast with technology. And number five, how to enhance our brand, how to develop and enhance our brand. So now, if we have all this in mind, right, I think we should not lag behind, right? I'll leave it back to you, Dr. Timothy.
Excellent, Dato. There was a message that came to me while we are conversing listening to Dato. So these viewers, some viewers prefer not to put into the chat. They will PM me. So they are my friends in the industry. So one person yeah, James is currently based in Hong Kong. So he said, well, Hong Kong has been for the whole year of past 2 years has been suffering with lots of issues and things. So the comment says that the trend of business trend, especially look towards sustainability, is only accelerating for business around the world. Speakers, Dato P and Miss Chong, would you be able to give some insight? The current crisis have caused firms to backtrack or change focus. Current COVID crisis, as well as from Hong Kong, what they face, have caused companies, firms to backtrack or change focus. So James is asking, please give some insight. Me as a senior management person, what are some ideas that we can prepare for recent uncertainty that we can sustain better for 2021? Yeah? What are some tips or some points that we can help James, in which case he is the question that asked the question, to help give some insight of business sustainability for next year? Addressing to Dato P, of course, being Dato, you are a deputy chairman of an organization, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
I am.
yeah.
Yes,
As
I'm
well
the
as
executive deputy chairman of HKT Holdings. Yeah.
yeah, thank you. As well as Jocelyn, you are a well-traveled, seasoned
Yes.
international consultant in HR and business, of course. So, what would be your take? Maybe let's hear from Dato first. Dato, as a leader in an organization, definitely this year have impact organization across board. So in you as the deputy chairman, giving advice and to stakeholders, what would be some of your tips, ideas that you can share with us for next year to address management, board of directors, stakeholders? Dato?
All right. I think now the COVID, this pandemic is actually woken up a lot of us, right? And then I think the way we do business has to change, right? Now, let me start with property development. Okay, now because of the pandemic, a lot of people are actually losing their income, disposable income. Now, because of that, while we still want to continue our business, we have to make our products affordable. Number one, affordable. Number two is to make our product, to be able to be financed by the bank and financing, right? And we should incorporate more lifestyle inside, more lifestyle. And then, of course, we should also increase our indices, building indices, right? Building indices. And number four, right? We must be innovative in our features, like security and all that. And of course, then finally, we must ensure that whatever we put in the market should appreciate in value, right? Now, in my company, we are prepared, to tell people, look, you buy my product. At the end of the day, if you cannot afford, we will buy back from you. We will buy back from you. So that is an assurance that our product is very much tradable,
Yes.
tradable. So therefore, in terms of affordability, so we have to look at the cost. Now, nowadays, right, we are also going to look at the millennials, the changing demographics, right, in our business, right. So we have to make sure that the units, the size becomes smaller, so that people can afford to buy. Right? Now those days you develop apartments, for instance, apartments or condominium to sizes like 1,200 square feet, right? And then if you are looking at 800 ringgit per square foot, you're looking at 1 million. So those are days gone already. So it's a technical correction today. So now, do I really need a 1,200 square feet building? I may not need, right? Apartment. So therefore, they are looking now at maybe 600 square feet and below. And then if it's 600 square feet and below, even if I sell at the same price, 800 ringgit, it will cost less than 500,000. But no, I'm not going to sell at 800 ringgit. I'm probably looking at 500 ringgit. So therefore, an apartment will cost 300,000. It is affordable, right? It's affordable. And then nowadays people, they don't need such a big apartment. Probably a 2-bedroom apartment will be good enough. And then we have to also look at, how they want to upgrade eventually, right? Now, if at all they need their parents to support, their parents also need a place to stay. So then we develop apartments with dual key. That means, let's say if you have 900 square feet, you allow 300 square feet, give it to your parents with another door, right? And then you take the 600 square feet. Then parents can help you, right? Then of course, we must make sure that, all right, your products are affordable, and for your products to be financeable, so we will make sure that your installment do not exceed 1/3 of your disposable income, right? So we work backwards. We will say, okay, now for instance, SS15, an apartment will probably be able to be rented out at 2,000. So then for 2,000, then we will say, okay, how much should your installment be? And then we will work backwards to say, okay, that is the price that we will price the apartment. Then indices, gone are those days we talk about green index and all that. Now people are more advanced. they talk about wellness index, they talk about health, or their own health.
Correct.
They're not just bothered about the environment, they're bothered more about their own health. So we'll make
Yes.
sure that there's enough ventilation, right, in our design, right? So we will also review all our design criteria, whether it's structural or whether it is environmental. So we'll ensure that all, all these are incorporated, all the wellness, including security, right? Including security. Now, we are also looking at co-living. You see now, co-working has been there all along. But now we are looking at co-living, meaning, all right, you may have a very small apartment, 300 square feet, 400 square feet. Now, you don't want to be in the apartment, the whole day. So so when you have your own privacy, you want to come out to mix around. So therefore, for all these, what they call condominium, every floor, we will have a common space where people can come out and mingle, right? And then the whole building will be Wi-Fi, available. So that means apart from working your own room, you can also come out and still work outside, right? So so we are now looking at co-living. Then on the commercial side, we are no longer interested to sell shop houses or factories. So we are looking at a hybrid. Why? Because a lot of people now are doing online businesses. Now, for these online businesses, a shop floor is too small for them to store their things. A factory is too huge, right? Now, so again, for them to come in. So we're looking at a hybrid, what we call ramp-up commerce. So we are probably looking at, we are therefore looking at spaces about 3,000 to 4,000 square feet. Then they can afford. They can buy, or people can invest, buy, and then rent to you. So commercial side also we're looking at the same thing. That means those days, especially in Hong Kong, you see in Hong Kong, there are a lot of flatted factories. So when you have flatted factories, you need to have lifts and all that, elevators and all that. But then here we are looking at ramp up, meaning every floor, whether it is 5-story or 10-story, every floor is a ground floor. Meaning the car, the lorry, the mid-sized lorry can actually go up to that floor, right? So every floor, will have a premium of its own. So that means you really do not need any more elevators or any more lifts to transport your goods, and that will also reduce the time, right? So all residential, commercial, industrial, we address. Now the other thing is, of course, sharing, business sharing, sharing. So you have to share, everything. You have to share everything. Like I say, co-working, co-living, right? Now, especially now with the millennials, the demographics, so they're very technically very savvy one. So what they call online purchases, and then also now security, right? Both in terms of personal and what they call business. So drones actually come in. So you see now, US over the last few days has been talking about the revolution of war, right? They don't need to send fighting jets over it. They can send a drone. A drone today is as heavy as 20 tons or 28 tons. With wingspan up to 60 feet now. They can drop bombs anywhere, right? Now, we are also in the drone business. My company is also in the drone business. And so I've also, make it very clear that, drone is actually also a threat to security, not only guns, So we are now we are setting up, some legislation to say that, all right, if you have any drone more than, X kilogram, you need to have it licensed. Because, okay, for instance, Dr. Tim, you can have 8 bodyguards, right? I can send a drone on top of you and drop a pail of acid on you, right? So your bodyguard won't come and carry the umbrella to block all those. Right? So drones are also another business to go in, right? So change technology is very, very important. All right. So and then of course I say in order to ensure sustainability, actually it's all about cost, quality, and technology. All right, to ensure sustainability, right?
We will have some business connection as we will initiate some sort of introduction of dialogue, Dato, because I am from a ex-uniform guy like me, quite recently also been starting some conversation with people who provide unique security areas that relate to properties as well. Great one. Thank you, Dato, for sharing. We will definitely converse more. Now, let's hear it from dynamic Jocelyn. As a HR perspective, yeah, just now Dato was coming from a part of a property development industry. So, human capital is still the main domineering factor that must do something, yeah, for sustainability. Jocelyn, what's your take?
I look at the situation right now, even from like my own clients, I would say that some clients are not affected because they are manufacturing some essentials that is required. So I have clients that are running factory 24/7 and fully working every day. So I would say that looking at the economy, quite a big percentage of the economy at the moment is actually still doing well. But of course, the directly impacted ones will be all the retail, the F&B, and even the training business a little bit of as such lah, huh? So definitely we have to look at how that our clients is no more availability like coming to us, and how we going to reach out to our clients. So there are changes and shift that definitely for those that are in business in the category, they are very directly affected because clients don't come to you anymore, right? They are staying at home. That you have to figure out how to reach to your clients. So therefore, the changes and shift to a person's business model has to be there. So with the business model change, of course, your human capital need to have the shift also, because they need to know that they need to have the knowledge and skills on how to do that, how to reach customer directly instead of through a to an outlet, to a retail, because those part are the one that collapse in already, that you lost a lot of the business from there. So therefore, of course, looking at it, the organization needs to be learn to be agile. Business people behavior have changed, and that how do you capitalize on the behavioral change? Yes.
Right. Now, my two learned friends, as we are also part of the body of Global People Exchange, entity association newly formed on looking at HR, subject matter experts come together under this association to add value to organizations. Now, Dato P and Jocelyn, for what we are now facing in Malaysia, especially, Dato, you spearhead organizations, you have teams, and Jocelyn, you did consulting. In Malaysia, my observation of organization is that they want to progress, they want to achieve, they want to enhance competency. They want to remain competitive because they have certain skills. But however, when it comes to stakeholders, decision makers, senior management, it's the dollar and cents that counts, and say, well, I think I'd rather invest on the latest C+315 of a Mercedes-Benz or a painting from Italy versus human capital development, So, so Dato, being a senior at the highest pinnacle of management, what's your feedback, Dato? What's your input and feedback? Yeah.
Right. Yeah, good question. Good question. Good topic. Now, I always look at human capital, our human capital, our staff, as our first line of defense. First line of defense. Number two, is our first line of promotion. Number three, our first line of branding, right? So now, can you imagine, right? You send out a staff, to do marketing, and he or she speaks horrible English, or horrible Mandarin, or horrible Bahasa, right?
Like Uncle Roger. So Uncle Roger also like Uncle Tim. We are all nephew nieces. Come and learn from Dato P. Okay, continue, Dato.
Okay. So therefore, right now, if your staff is your first line of defense, first line of promotion, and first line of branding, so you need to train them. You need to train them, right? So because when people look at, you see nowadays, you say, oh, where are you working? Well, I'm working at HKT. Straight away they go into your website. but the website don't speak, you know. The website, you know, is only, you know, reacting to what you want to know, right? Whereas staff, they need to be interactive, right? For instance, right, when I just an interviewing candidate, no, why you want to interview a candidate? Hey, you see, no, you look at his CV. Oh, the fellow is very qualified. But when he opened his mouth, then you know, hey, this fellow got no substance, no substance. Therefore, apart from your paper qualification, you must be able to also market yourself, to show your ability to talk, your ability to promote your product, or your ability to promote and market yourself. So likewise, in any organization, human capital is number one. You see, now I always believe, because now since my what do you call it, time, right, in Hong Leong, now I'm a civil engineer, right? So when they promoted me to be a general manager, I cannot differentiate between a P&L statement, profit and loss statement, or a cash flow statement, or a balance sheet. To me, all the three statements, documents look the same. You know, so then I asked myself, hey, how am I going to progress, man? Right now, and then of course those days I was a bit younger lah. Then of course you got your pride lah. You don't want to show your stupidity lah. So therefore, no, you keep quiet. You don't want to ask, right now. So the longer I wait, the more stupid I become. So eventually I have no choice. So those days no Google, no nothing, you know, no Wikipedia, no nothing. So I have to go back in the weekend, dissect all the documents and rebuild them up. Right now, and that's how I learn now. But eventually, Hong Leong, no, they believe in human capital. Hong Leong is one organization which believes in human capital. So they sent me to National University of Singapore to study corporate finance. So as an engineer, I'm also equipped with finance. So at least I know how to list a company. I know what's broad money, narrow money. I know how to long the money. I know how to short money, right? So I know how the money market works and that thing. And that rose in my career. So from a project manager in Hong Leong, I rose to chief project manager. I rose to general manager, senior general manager, chief operating officer, and eventually to group managing director of Hume Industries Berhad. Something that I've never been taught. You know, I've never been trained, because you know there's all about production and industrial engineering. I'm a civil engineer, don't forget, right? But it's because of their investment in me that I know how to manage my cash flow, and then also how to address my balance sheet. Because sometimes you cannot just leave your assets lying there. You see now. So when I took over as a group MD of Hume Industries Berhad, so I look at all the whole balance sheet and say, hey, what are the assets that I do not want? What are the assets that are sitting there that I don't see any potential of using? So I would just sell it off, right? Sell it off to raise cash so that I can have new opportunity, new business opportunity, right? So Hong Leong invested in me, right? Likewise, when I went into other organizations, I've been a CEO of 5 public listed companies throughout my career, right? So I'm already 70 years old today, right? Almost 70 lah. So I believe, right? I've learned enough from all these organizations, right? And I learn. I do not keep it to myself. I share it. I share with everybody. So I've conducted a few talks free of charge, by the way. No charge on the competency enhancement, on management and structure, right? On also this productivity and all that lah. So human capital is something you cannot leave behind lah. So once you have you set up key result areas and then introduce KPI, so you also got to reward your staff lah. So I always believe in the BIP program, the bonus increment promotion plans lah, right? As a matter of fact, even when I was a young engineer, one of my chartered exam question, was how do you motivate a worker? It is just monetary reward, So I have to answer in 1,500 words, right? So I wrote a very long essay to talk about career pathing. Even as a young punk those days, I was only in my 20s. So I talk about career pathing, right? So I talk about the environment you work, the culture, the philosophy. You see now, if you are a good person, no work is tough. If you leave a company, it's either for career advancement, or you want to leave your boss. You hate your boss so much, you just want to leave your boss. Right? So really, culture is also very important. But I think then of course succession planning, right? And you got to make known to staff that, hey, don't worry, right? You don't have to wait until your boss die. Only you can sit in this position. No, you can create a lot of new portfolios, right? So for every portfolio, I need a general manager or I need a CEO. So then you give them this kind of motivation, but you must set a path, you must set a career path for all of them. Right? This is what I think. Okay, back to you.
Thank you. Now, L&D strategies, Joelynne, we share quite similarity in our execution of our career. So, from an L&D strategic point of view, what's your thing? What's your perspective, Joelynne?
And of course, the saying is, there are organizations who thinks that, especially more on just like the example you have given, that instead of investing in the staff, and they would rather buy their C-class. But one of the idea is that they think that if I invest in the staff, what if the staff go away, right? So I waste my money. But think about it, what if you don't invest in them and they stay, right? And then their capability cannot improve, and not improve over the years. Now, this is really very real, is because the environment overall changes a lot, and the changes even like as great as this pandemic will require a lot of shift. Like when we talk about a business model shift, or new things that you require to do. Now, you don't expect your staff to automatically know a lot of these new things and how to do that, right? So together with the environment change, the organization need to change, and the people inside there need to change. The capability then need to be improved accordingly. Now, if you don't invest in them, and if they don't leave, unless you are really can make up your mind to go around firing them, or else you have to really figure out how to develop them. Now, as far as I am concerned, I've been 20 years over in training and development. And most of the big multinational, the most valuable organizations in the world globally, they all invest in their learning and development. And this has proven that it is definitely, with this, is a proof that definitely this is one of the strategy that the organizations should have if they need to survive, or if they need to have sustainability in their business. Yes, over to you, Tim.
Dr. Tim, okay, let me carry on from what Joelynne just mentioned. What happened if the staff leaves, right? You train them. What happened if they leave? Now, we have always been asking ourselves this question, right? But to me, when I was in Hong Leong, so I told the chairman, right? Now, we invest in the staff, hoping that they will stay. But should they leave, right? It is our corporate social responsibility. One. Two, when they leave, to join another company, they either say very good things about you, or they say very bad things about you. So therefore, it is up to you to impress upon them how good is the organization, right? So and then for them to leave for career advancement, they must have been trained by you. Otherwise, how can they go for career advancement? So therefore, when they leave your organization, they will say good things about your company, right? Now, if you don't train them, they go on a parallel, attachment or parallel job. They will say bad things about you. They say, I come here, why? Nothing to learn there, right? So therefore, there's no loss in training a person, whether he stays or he goes. No loss. In fact, I would think, right, you have more to gain, because it's going to say a lot of good things about you. For instance, now if he is a project manager, or if he is a sales manager in your organization, he leaves to become a general manager. He cannot just go because he's handsome or he's pretty. He goes because he's well trained by you. So therefore, he's going to say good things about you. So why not invest in him? So it's also your responsibility. Right? Now, imagine our children go and join an organization. If the organization don't train him or her, what do we tell our children? Hey, leave the company, silly company, so stingy. Right now. So therefore, I don't think it's any loss to train staff, whether they stay or they leave. Right? In fact, even I say that if they leave, they're going to say good things about you. Right? But you don't train them, they're going to say bad things about you.
Right. Now, before I come back to what Dato mentioned, we got to invest and train them. Picking up from Joelynne just now. So if it is on a higher level multinational company, MNCs, as what Dato said, good companies or like GE, Jack Welch said that good companies from good to great, they got to be able to invest in people so that they grow. What about like in Malaysia, 65 to 70% are SMEs. I've been in the HR training development industry for the past 20 over years. Sometimes to me, talking to a typical small medium enterprise stakeholder, bosses, CEO, CFO, they can't come to the realization of what we conversed just now. If they don't say add value, brand them. So Joelynne, how would you then advise the SME bosses, stakeholders, Joelynne? What would be your given that this opportunity to share? How would you sort of knock their sense and say, hey, wake up! You got to follow some role modeling of success of multinationals. What would your take be?
I think first of all, they definitely need to cultivate, or they need to start with their own strategic and their own visions.
Right.
The starting point has to be, what do they want in their business, how far they want it to go, what kind of visions that you have, and then with it, you have to, that kind of planning will take you to think about your people that go along with it. Now, if you do not have that in mind, what will be the plan? What would be 3 years? What would be 5 years? Then you won't do it. So I would feel that that is definitely a very important starting point to start to do things like strategic planning, have a certain plan, business plan in place. And as you grow, then your people will grow together. Different opportunity will come out, different department, different things like that. Yeah, that's happening in the organizations. That definitely require you to think about their capability development. Would you agree with me, Dato P?
Yes. In fact, when you train, when you invest and train your people, you got one more advantage. You can actually multitask them.
Yeah.
Right. There's also another savings, multitasking. Right. See, just like my HR girl, the finance girl. So because when I first went to this company, they don't have any HR. So therefore, we train, our accounts girl, train our account girls to understand the Employment Act, right? And then to know how to advertise in job street, to how to recruit people, how to interview people, and then at the end of the day, how to come up with an appointment letter. So my accounts girl can do now multitasking, both accounts and HR. So I save hiring, a manager. So I only hire an HR executive. So because you train her.
Pause you for a moment, Dato P. Now let me wear the hat of the employee point of view. I do HR, get TTT, train the trainer. When I do HR training projects like training needs analysis, the feedback at the employees level will say multitasking is a very much abused word. Bosses management over abuse this word called multitasking. One salary, you got to do 4 or 5 job scope, job task responsibilities. So this multitasking seems like a double-edged sword. From a management stakeholder, I also do that. My staff, I also look into this multitasking as a boss, as a business owner. But my staff will say, boss, can or not? Why let me multitask? I want to be a subject matter expert. So Dato, you will definitely hear from feedback from your HR managers, HR directors. What would some actions that you have mitigated this to explain to the team level and say that multitasking is an essential need and it is good for you to accept or rather learn new things because of multitasking. Dato, what's your input?
Oh, simple, very simple answer, right? To give you a simple answer. Now, multitasking means you're able to do 2 people's job or 3 people's job. For instance, now if there are 10 jobs to be done, I need to hire 10 people, right? For every single, responsibility. But if I'm able to multitask, one person do two fellas job, so I only need 5 fellas. Ultimately, when I come to pay bonus, my bonus pool will be shared by 5 people or 10 people. So I ask them back, hey, you want to share your bonus with somebody else? See, then I also work according to consensus. You see now, when I remember when I was in Hume Industry, the capacity of the production capacity of our factory is 10,000 tons per month. But I came up with a tactical price war program. Tactical price war program. Of course, then my chairman those days said, hey, price war is price war lah. Where got such thing called tactical price war? So I said, of course, if you come up with a price war, everybody loses, right? So I said, I come up with a tactical price war where everybody wins, right? That means, all right, we divide our own boundaries. So now, when I came out with this tactical price war program, so I need to increase my capacity, right, from 10,000 tons. Remember, 10,000 tons. Now, if I, because I work on an 8-hour shift, now if I want to increase my capacity to 15,000 tons or 20,000 tons, I need another shift of people, right? So that means I need to bring in, right, another 30, 40 people. So I go back to the factory floor and I ask them, hey guys, right, I want to increase my capacity, right? Now, I'm not sure of my sales. So therefore, would you agree, right, now to work a bit harder? Meaning, right, let me start with 15,000 tons instead of 20,000 tons. So therefore, I said, if I hire another team of people, there'll be more people here, right? More people here, and then you probably, will have to go back earlier to allow the second team to take over. However, if you people are willing to multitask, right, and then work, 4 hours every alternate days, half a shift every alternate days. I don't need to bring in people, right? And you get overtime, you get extra, right? So which one you prefer? They prefer to work alternate days, every alternate days, 4 hours more. And my capacity actually increase not to 15,000 tons, more. You know why? Because there's continuation. I don't have to stop the factory, right? Bring in a new team inside, no need. So it's a continuous thing. So instead of 15,000 tons for that 4 hours, so I have 16, 17,000 tons. So I work by consensus. Everybody's happy.
Wow.
I like to share a story from what I learned in China. I was telling you in Shenzhen, there is the partnership between a Chinese local company and an MNC, right? So the MNC actually, all the staff levels the managers are paid much higher because in China, most of the organizations still a bit of government owned, trying to be more on the private part of it. And then I remember the discussion is why are the MNC staff paid so much higher? It's because they can do 10% job in the local Chinese company. And then I took a look at our HR department because I sit in the HR department. So I do find that there are managers there who has worked their whole life, 50 over years old. He can only do one area, very IR, go to the plant there and have IR. And he cannot do any other of the HR functions. So if the organization look at him, he cannot be promoted. Correct. He only do one silo area. So therefore, if you want to move up, you have to expand. And a typical example, even in HR, you have to understand the full scope of HR before you can be a HR director. So definitely you have to multitask, not multitask into doing the task, multitask into understand all the whole scope of HR, for example.
Understanding the whole scope. Now then, Jocelyn, the oxymoron terminology of this new trend in organizations' behavior and job scope, job function. The oxymoron is that should one continue to be a subject matter expert where they are only superbly good in doing one job, one task, or it should be converted, migrated, elevated if needs to be a multitasker, to be able to handle, integrate a multiple flow of the process. So where would the weightage be? Subject matter experts or this multitasking? What would that help I believe our viewers are a lot of managers, professionals, business owners, a board of directors, chairman as well. So what would your take would be?
Definitely experts is needed where you go very deep, oil and gas or whatever. But then when you have to manage people, that's where you cross over diagonally somehow, right? But once you arrive at the highest level, like what Dr. P has described, you can be very expert in quality in manufacturing, but if you are a GM, then you have to understand about HR as well, employment, management, leadership. So you do have to be very good. What we also talk about is that you don't have to, as you go higher, you have to have a lot of process skill and knowledge. Those are the one that take you across all the different deep expert area to arrive at a higher level. So unless you would just want to start in that expert area very deeply, of course there are certain professional expert area that are deeply rewarding as well. But if you look at what do you call that, the career that are moving up towards general management, you do have to have a quite wide exposure, a lot of process skills that you have to acquire.
Indeed. So if they ever need training to upskill, fill in the gaps competency, match the gap, please call Jocelyn, please call our Global People Exchange.
Yes.
There are tons of us who are subject matter experts in diverse fields. Suhu was on board of the show and a few other speakers as well. So Jocelyn would be the right lady to look into, to contact and to call on this training approach or what suits this competency enhancement. And then for Dato, would you don't look 70 years old, Dato, you don't look 70. So would you be open enough to do that coaching mentor, do that mentoring role in terms of, see someone say Tim is 48, yeah, and I run 4 companies, so I want to role model, I want to have a mentor like Dato. Can Dato mentor, open enough to mentor younger people to be up the level, to be business owners at state level, as I also sit in different boards. So what can possible, Dato? What's your take? I think people will start to email you and contact you, Dato. Would you want to, can you be my mentor, Dato?
Actually, I don't know whether you're teasing me or what, but definitely I'm prepared to share my knowledge. I'm prepared to share my knowledge because I'm one guy that would think outside the box. For instance, as now, okay, to address back, give me now 2 minutes to address what you ask, who is this, Joelynne, right? If this guy has become so expert in doing, whatever he's doing, should you keep him there or should you, transfer him somewhere else? Okay, let me tell you, I would look at him as a threat. This guy, if he's so good in his work, at the end of the day, he will hold you ransom, He would think that he's so indispensable, right now. Hey, boss, I want this, I want that. If not, I resign, right now. So therefore, when a person gets too good in his job, you better start looking how to get a person to succeed him, Now, therefore, for him, for somebody to understudy him and succeed him, he will find a threat. Instead of you finding a threat, he will find you a threat right now. They say, no. You are so good now in whatever you're doing. I want to promote you into R&D, research and development, either in terms of system, products, or whatever, or quality. So therefore, you kill 3 birds with 1 stone. That means you read this guy as a threat to you. You don't you won't find him holding you ransom. At the same time, you develop a new department, R&D. Number 3, you have another fellow understudy him, so you win. Correct? So I think I will look at it that way.
So back to the support that we would be giving to Global People's Exchange,
Yes.
in terms of all the HR area, or definitely we are willing to be assisting whoever that need helps. Can definitely email me. Yes.
Thank
Me
you.
as
Yes.
well. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
GPX that can be recently launched this support. If you need any area of coaching, you can have access to contact Jolie. Afterwards, our technical director will give out the contact and emails. Also back to Dato. The mentoring side, Dato. Learned gentlemen like Dato, how ready do you see yourself mentoring, grooming capable young talents?
anytime, anytime. Actually, I enjoy working with people. I
Okay.
enjoy upgrading people. I mean, you see now throughout my career, if you look at my profile, I have a lot of scholarships throughout my career, right? I have actually had 6 scholarships throughout my career, student days. Now, these scholarships were given to me by people I do not know and people who do not know me. So people changed my life, right? Now, I got my dato-ship because I changed people's life. I did not buy my dato-ship. So I was also the vice president of T Ratana Welfare Society, where we built, a children's home from 14 children to 200 over children. Then we also built old folks home from one old man, a diabetic, to 100 over old folks. Then I was also the founder and chairman of the T Ratana Women Shelter Home, right, where I counsel 200 to 300 women, telling them, taking them out from suicide, taking them out from abortion, and then and that home I set up is for the physically, sexually, and psychologically abused women, so as to put them back on their feet, right? So I love to develop people. I love to develop people because people develop me. If I had not had the scholarships, I wouldn't be where I am today because my father used to be a lorry driver, and then my mother used to be a maid. So it's because of the scholarship then that it enabled me to go to college and go to the university. So therefore, I'm prepared to help people. I'm prepared, to work with people, to develop people. So I hope to leave a legacy that people remember me as, oh, this one, my sifu. Oh, this one, my mentor. I love that.
Oh, beside KCC Fu, I will come to you, Dato P. I will also humbly request to be my mentor and my Sifu. Thank you, thank you.
I can also teach you all the bad things,
Will do, will do.
I learn both good things and bad things.
Tim already knows a lot of bad things.
Yeah.
On top of good ones. Sorry, just joke.
I think because we are part of the family of Global People Exchange, started by Mr. Gay, and he sort of really grouped unique individuals that comes under this association, and that's why we are here to add value, right? We all come from different background, different experiences. So I think combined 3 of us, our age should be a 70 plus 40, and that, so our age should be about 148 or 150. So 3 of us combined plus our team GPX, I think it will be a wonderful dynamite. The dynamite will explode.
Sure.
With tons of things to overspill the kind of knowledge and skills and sharing of experiences. Thank you, I know, ladies, Joelynne. Thank you, Dato P, for being on board tonight for our show. It's a memorable one because tonight is the second last show for 2020. My technical team and director Geraldine started her show Shine at Night on the second week of MCO. Mine started in June. So this is our second last show. Next week we will have a dynamic speaker, a dear friend of mine, Dato Raj Kumar. He is the president of UCSI Blue Ocean Regional Consulting. So Raj will share with us on Blue Ocean shift and what to anticipate on business sustainability for 2021. Yeah, meaning from academic or from a practical point of view of Blue Ocean, how can we make it applicable in view of 2021 after this saga of COVID? Yeah, so we will address certain issues about business sustainability using certain Blue Ocean strategy and framework, and that would mark our final show for 2020. And definitely during Christmas Eve and New Year's Day, 31st, I think everyone deserves a good break with our family and with our loved ones. So we will only have the show again with my technical team approval would be sometime in March 2021. Yeah, then we will start again our show. So tonight is a very memorable, historic night as well. As both Dato P and Joelynne, yeah, Sifu and CJ coming on board the show, sharing all this music is fantastic. Yeah. So well, exactly time is catching up. We will have to say good night. And yes, friends, viewers around the world, globally and in Malaysia, this is the email of Dato P. Do if you find you have to get contacting Dato or Joelynne, let me know. Yeah, I will definitely give you their contact as well as email, and you can definitely reach out to them. So that's Joelynne's email Gmail address here shown at the bottom of the screen. Yeah. So thank you very much, dear friends. Have a wonderful night.
Everybody. Good night.
Have a wonderful
Good night.
and
Thank
you,
Thank you.
Selangor, have a nice holiday. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. See you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you all next time. Bye-bye.